Years ago, I was at a jam session. I'd been playing guitar for about 5 or 6 years. I knew some Led Zeppelin songs. I knew some Bad Company songs. I had some bad licks. I knew some things. I thought I was a badass. I could probably play just about anything. I got invited to a jam session with a friend of mine who was a bass player and a few other people that I didn't know, but I was like, I got this. I'm a badass. No problem. Get to the session, everybody sets up their equipment, and the keyboard player says, let's play Louie Louie in the key of A. And I was like, yeah, I got this. 1, 2, 3, 4. The keyboard player stops everybody. He's like, stop, stop. And we're like, what happened? What's going on? And he points at me, he says, you're playing the wrong chords there. I'm like, no, I'm not. I got this, right? See? He's like, no, that last chord. I'm like, this one? He's like, yeah, that's supposed to be E minor. And I was like, hey everybody, I'm back. My name's Chris. If you haven't seen me on Marty's channel, I was actually Marty's guitar teacher. I taught Marty how to play guitar when he was in college. So he's invited me back to share my knowledge, do the guitar teacher thing here on his channel. Thank you so much. Any chance I get to get in front of this group is pretty cool because there's so much guitar goodness coming through this channel. It's just sort of an honor to be part of it. So thanks for having me on board. So that keyboard player, sort of a dick, but what was going on? Why was that important to him? Right? That E minor chord. Calling me out in a jam session. E minor. Why is it important? Here's why. Because Louie Louie doesn't go like this. It goes like this. E minor. If you want to play Louie Louie correctly, you need that minor chord, right? I had been playing for years, but I didn't know what a minor chord was. And I was flabbergasted, right? Meanwhile, that sent me on a journey that's still going on to this day for me to discover what's going on here. Because I never want to be in the position again where I don't know what's going on. But that's just me. So, minor chords. They're clearly important. So, I ask a question of you. Do you know all your minor chords, right? Maybe you do. Maybe you're like, yeah, you know what? I play minor bar chords all the time. I got them. I know what I'm doing. Okay, cool. C sharp minor, F sharp minor, B flat minor, A sharp minor. If any of those terms, those chord names, sort of get you off balance, you don't have your minor chords down enough, right? You don't have the confidence of going, yeah, I could do that. No problem. I can play you an F sharp minor right now. We're going to use bar chords for this exercise. You may already know all your minor bar chords, right? You may have them down. You may be like, yeah, I got this. Stick around anyway, because I'm about to show you a drill to drill minor chords, to really get them under your fingers and in your brain, and and really know them in a way that you might not have done before. Minor chords, they're important, right? Can't play Louie Louie without a minor chord. Right? We need our minor chords. Do you have your minor chords down? Was that A sharp sounding confusing? C sharp, B flat minor, F sharp minor, D sharp minor. Have you ever played those before? You may know that you can play them, but have you ever played them before? There's a difference. There's a subtle difference. We're going to be using bar chords, and we're going to be using minor bar chords. So let's just quickly review bar chords. Just hang on a second if you already know this. If you don't, this should be a review for most of us, but just check it out if it's not. Bar chords come in 2 flavors, root on the E string and root on the A string. When your root is on the E string, it's based on this chord, this E chord. So if I take that shape up, let's say to the 3rd fret, that's G, right? E, F, G. So if this is E and this is E minor, that makes this G and G minor. Just take that middle finger off. G minor. Same thing for the A string. When the root's on the A string, it should mimic this A chord. Right? So if this is A major and this is A minor, on the 3rd fret, A, B, C, this would be C major and C minor. You're just moving that top note down. Right? Just a little bar chord, minor bar chord review. Okay, let's drill these things. We're going to drill them around the circle of fifths. Whoa, I don't know the circle of fifths. Don't worry, you don't have to. I brought one with me. Here it is. Circle of fifths is a really cool thing. You don't have to memorize it. It makes a really good drilling tool. I'm going to show you how to use that right now. But why would we use the circle of fifths? Well, for two reasons. One, this is every single minor chord there is. There are only 12 minor chords. That's it. There are fancy ones like A minor 9, B minor 11, but these are all the vanilla minor chords: A minor, B minor, C sharp minor, F sharp minor, D sharp minor, B flat minor. There are only 12 of them, and they're in this order. These are moving in the interval of a fifth. You may ask yourself, well, so why? I can play the same thing. If we're just going to use minor chords, why don't I just play A minor here, and then I go up a half step? That's A sharp, right? And then this would be B, and this would be C. So if I just go up in half steps, I'll be able to play every single minor chord anyway. But there's a big difference because I have no idea what chord this is now. I turned my brain off down here somewhere while I was trying to rationalize the idea of going up in half steps. Half steps are great to make sure your hands are working, but they have absolutely no value to your cognitive capability to recall a chord. This is just training your hands, right? That's why we use the circle of fifths, because we're going to have to find these notes. We're going to have to find each one of these notes, look for them on the fretboard, put a minor chord down, move to the next one, right? Meanwhile, that's easier than it seems. Okay, let's just get started. We're going to start on C because that's our first note. 3rd fret, A string, C minor bar chord. So far, so good. Move to the next one is G. We're going to just flip back to the E string root now for the G minor. Next chord we're looking for is D minor. Look at this, A string root on the 5th fret. There's our D minor. Right across the street is our A minor. You can see this pattern starting to happen. Follow the pattern to the E minor, which is our next one. Right across the street is the B minor. Follow the pattern to that F sharp minor. Maybe you've never played an F sharp minor chord before. Here it is. Right across the street is our C sharp minor. That's the next note in the series. Maybe you've never played a C sharp minor before. Follow the pattern to G sharp minor. There's a pretty rare one. Right across the street is D sharp minor. Follow the pattern to A sharp minor. So now we're alternating between E string and A string roots. And then the last one is F. Cool. Not hard to do. We've just played every single minor chord there is using bar chords and alternating between A string roots and E string roots. That's pretty cool. Let's do the same thing now, but we're going to start. Remember how we started on the A string? Now we're going to take it and start at the C note again, but now we're going to start on the E string root. E, F, G, A, B, C. C minor is our first chord. There it is. The next chord we're looking for is G minor. Now we switch to the A string root, G minor. Now the pattern sort of starts over again. Right across the street is our D minor. Following the pattern, we go back to the A string root for the A minor. But I'm going to say, you know what? This A minor is way down there. I'm going to continue the pattern down here. There's our A minor. Next note in the series is E minor. Nice big old open bar chord. Open chord. That's kind of fun. Next note in the series is B minor. Switch to the A string root again. Follow the pattern to F sharp minor. Follow the pattern up back to the A string root for your C sharp minor. Follow the pattern for the G sharp minor, back to the E string root. Back to the A string root for your D sharp minor. Right across the street for the A sharp minor. And then we're back to F. Boom. We just played every single minor chord there is. Every single one in 2 different spots on the neck, right? It may not sound very impressive, but this kind of exercise has a real dramatic impact. Okay, dramatic impact. What is the dramatic impact? Like, how come I can't just go up in half steps like I did before, right? The dramatic impact is twofold. One is, doing an exercise like this, around the circle of fifths, you will have played every single minor chord that there is in 2 different places on the neck. That's pretty powerful. Like even if you just do that a couple times in your life, you get a sense of confidence that you've already been there. You've already played that. I've played every single minor chord. I've played them all in a number of places. Like even if it's subconscious, that builds your confidence. The other thing it does is that you've actually been there. You've trained your hands and your eyes to do it, and you've actually had the experience. So when somebody says, play an F sharp minor, you've got it, right? You know it. You know where to go, you know how to get it, and you got the confidence that you've been there before. And that's why it's more powerful than just playing them in half steps and sort of falling asleep during the middle of the exercise. Keeping your brain engaged and knowing where you are on the fretboard builds some fretboard knowledge, builds some fretboard capability, some real fretboard freedom. I can play any minor chord on the guitar in at least 2 places. That's a big deal. Okay, Marty, thanks so much for having me back to the channel. Everybody else, thanks for watching. I hope this was helpful. I hope you find this helpful. And again, do this 2 or 3 times in your lifetime and it'll have that dramatic effect. In fact, try to do it this week, right? Just play minor chords around the circle of fifths 2 or 3 times this week. And drop a note in the comments and let me know and let Marty know if this didn't have a profound effect on your ability just to see things on the guitar and your confidence on the guitar. I bet it does. Okay, have a good time with this. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you next time.